Welcome back. Our next presenter is Michelle Clarke, who will be presenting her work Invisible, Using the Internet to Depart from Studio Politics, which she worked on under the direction of David Locke. Thank you so much.
I'm a BFA acting major here at St. Edward's. When I tell people that, their response is usually something along the lines of, oh my gosh, wow, an acting major. So are you gonna move out to LA and be in movies? And for so long, the only practical response was, yes, that's the plan. That's where the industry is, so my options are pretty limited. And that's been true for literally 100 years. Warner Brothers and this is not clicking. I feel, oh, it works. There we go. Oh my gosh, well, I'm an acting major, so are you gonna move out to LA movies? There you go, that's the one. Anyway, so that's been true for literally 100 years. Warner Brothers and Paramount Pictures, two of the original Big Five film studios, have been actively operating out of Los Angeles for the past full century. These studios and others like them have achieved such unchallengeable success due in part to a tactic called vertical integration. It's where a company or conglomerate gains control of two or more stages of production, which is usually delegated to separate companies. This means the company may own everything from the rights to the content it produces, the equipment and studios it uses, to the means of distribution, the channel on which you view the content. Yet, as a room full of millennials and people who raised millennials, we know that things in the 21st century have a habit of changing fast. In this room, at least 98% of the population has a device in their possession which could edit, record, and stream a homemade video. And as much as we take that for granted, that is huge. Not only do we have constant access to high-quality equipment, we also have access to an unlimited means of distribution, the internet. As individual people, we all possess the means to start our own monetized channel at any time, whether it be YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, even Snapchat. This is catastrophic for major studios. Except that the film business often requires hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to create a single project. And so, even though movies made with iPhones are not unheard of in 2019, the main effects of these changes are being felt mostly when it comes to television. Instead of investing time and money creating pilots, studios now look to web series, i.e. series distributed exclusively online when searching for new content. The reason studios are using web series as the new pilot system is because picking up a web series ends up being mutually beneficial for both the studios and the independent creators in a handful of ways. First, the content creator has full freedom to actualize their concept without third-party intervention. This is great for all creators, but specifically people of color and other marginalized groups. Second, the studio gets a gauge of how the content will be received through view counts and popularity. They don't have to guess or take risks on non-conformative content. If they pick up the series, they also pick up an existing fan base. Third, even if a studio never picks up a series, that creator still has a standalone piece of work that can be monetized through other channels without relying on an external budget to actualize the project. The bottom line is that the new system not only works, but is arguably much better than the previous one. In fact, the new system works so well that you've probably already heard of some of the most popular web series, such as Broad City, Crash Course with John Green, and Awkward Black Girl, which later rebranded as Insecure. All of these series started as low-budget, straight-to-streaming content, and were signed to major studios with major funding. So, great, now we know. Want to compete independently in the 21st century? Make a web series. Okay, but how? Because as wonderful as it is to be an independent creator and artist, it takes a lot of work to create content that can compete with the other stuff, especially while your budget is also independent. She gets it. A script is a good and absolutely crucial first step. process is different, and each project requires something different. For this project, I had to start with an interview before I could even start writing. Once I had a base of primary information, I was able to start building my script, which also in this context is known as a screenplay. Several rounds of edits later, and I had a cohesive 3-ish page storyline. If you look at the headings in the script, you'll notice this crucial line of information before each scene. It informs whether the scene is interior or exterior, the physical setting, and the time of day. These pieces of information are vital for the next stage, which is putting together a shot list. To do this, I went back through the script and described the framing, angle, duration, what have you, of each and every shot I plan to take. I then organized these shots by location and time of day so that I could put together a shooting schedule, which helped me get an idea of how many days it would take to film and stay organized with the other people involved in this project. With my script, shot list, and schedule in hand, I was finally ready to start shooting. I compiled hours of footage, which then had to be sorted through, watched, and then sorted again into usable and unusable footage. Truly, the editing process is the most labor-intensive of the entire endeavor. Once I had my footage selections narrowed down, it was and is a never-ending process of trimming and tightening, constantly trying to get the timing right, hours spent listening to audio tracks, music, sound effects, and editing graphics. And still, I could spend another 40 hours at least on this project alone and still find details to tweak. But seeing as I'm graduating in 2 weeks, you'll have to enjoy it as is, for now. Before this explodes, I'm gonna turn the light on.
folks, we're about to get started, so we're going to continue our discussion on modern globalization. There is no eating in this class this morning, please. And thank you. According to history, modern globalization is divided into 3 sections. The first goes from 1492 to 1800. The second, from 1800 all the way to 2000. And the third is from 2000 to
cinematography was so well done. You used the camera to tell stories so well, in my opinion. Could you tell me, you said you set up shot lists. Was that all creative? Did the cinematographer help you with that, your DP?
Absolutely. So once I had my shot list, I had some like general ideas, but I hadn't been in the space yet. So I rented a camera and I got the awesome, amazing Kate McLaughlin right there with her camera. We ended up, everything we did, we could get coverage and footage at the same time. So I ended up getting about twice the number of shots as I thought I was going to get. So it just gave me so many more options when it came to the editing room. A lot of it was really like, Kate has a really great eye for like something just being that she was just thrown into, and then there were other specific shots that I knew, like the first shot I knew that I wanted to get really tight up on Deja's face, and then I knew I wanted this last scene to mirror the first scene.
So when you first were in your thesis class and you had to create what you wanted to do, what inspired you to tell Deja's story specifically?
So that's interesting because my thesis prep class, I didn't actually touch any part of this process. It was researching why I should do a web series and why that was the new model that was going to take over. And I marinated on what I wanted to show for like a year before I even asked Deja, but I just had, I don't know, I knew you and I knew that this was something that was never talked about, and I wanted to illustrate that because we don't see what it's actually like. Yeah.
You talk, it was really fascinating to hear about some of the process. I've never done anything like this before. And I'm interested to see anything about music, which is also such an impressive and really beautiful part of this. Could you say something about how you even go about scoring something like that?
So music was really tricky, mainly because I edited most of the footage before I added any music. And so I had all of this like, oh, is it even good? I didn't have any idea what the piece was until like the 11th hour, or 23rd, whatever the phrase is, the last hour. And then from there, since this is something that I want to stream and I want to be able to use without restriction, I had one great resource, which is Andrew Graham, who had just a catalog of songs that I kind of thumbed through and used a couple of. And then other than that, I had to find royalty-free music. So that was kind of limiting in what I could use. I literally spent hours just like lining up the shot that I needed music for and just playing a song at the same time and watching it. No, that's not it. Okay, next one. Like hours and hours and hours spent doing that.
Wow. Thank you so much. Yeah.
So we met freshman year, right? And she's developed such an amazing artist and talented actor, and obviously very talented content creator. I learned so much about Deja watching this thing, and that blew my mind. And thank you for the last 4 years, and I have no doubt